Good morning, Market Snipers. This is Jesse. Hope everyone had a good weekend. Today, we're going to dive into the charts as usual for the first 15 to 30 minutes. And the second half of the stream, we're going to do your chart request for about 15, 30 minutes. This time, we're going to have to keep it to an hour or shorter. I do have some other things going on that I got to keep to those engagements and those appointments. So we're gonna jump right in. The title of this live stream is "There's a pending sell signal on Bitcoin," right? So we're gonna take a look at that lower time frame. But first, we're gonna dive into the Nasdaq. We'll take a look at S&P 500, Dow Jones, and then we'll look at some metals, probably the dollar, 10-year yield, VIX. Basically, go down this list, right? And then we'll come back to Bitcoin. We can look at the crypto assets and stuff like that. We'll come back to the comments for everyone. And then make sure to comment your requests. So let's dive right in. So the NASDAQ, not much has changed, right? So if we drop down the daily chart on the NASDAQ, a quick recap in case you're new to the stream, right? So we've been streaming this for more than a month now. And we've been covering it for more than a month. But we've been covering it on whether it was the Discord or the X app. We've been covering in real time back here. Bearish divergence followed by a lower high. Price came down, hit the target. Quick reversal candle back up. We're talking about it. Price building out a lower high, right? A second lower high. It did, and then price broke down, retested target one, not once, but then a third time. So 1, 2, 3 times, right? And then on Friday, we saw that it was a quick surge up on a buy signal. And then now today starting basically last night on Sunday, right? So Sunday, it started to, gap down a little bit, right, on the NASDAQ futures. So it started before the market opened today. And it looks like, the quick little tiny gap down, it's kind of pushing back up, kind of filling that gap a little bit. You can see it better on a lower time frame, but just for purposes of saving time, and then we talked about where would it build out that lower high, right? So kind of drew this out in the past. Caesar, good afternoon from Sterling, Massachusetts. All right, welcome back, Caesar. So we talked about this on previously, price coming down, hitting target, kind of building out that lower high wherever it is, and then coming back down like that. So that is still the main thought, is still our main thesis, right? So that's what we're kind of watching and waiting for. And you can kind of see, like, if you were to drop down to even like the 8-hour time frame or maybe even lower, but you can see that it was broke down here, and there was like sell signals on like the 1-hour time frame and stuff like that, and then gap down. You can see it all a little bit better. Doc, good evening from Germany. All right, what's up, Doc? Welcome back. So we're gonna keep rocking and rolling here on the charts, 15, 30 minutes, and then we'll get into all the comments and we'll get into the chart request. So make sure we're gonna keep this to an hour or less. So make sure to definitely get your comments in, because on the assets that you want covered, because the early bird gets the worm, and won't be able to cover them all today, most likely. So we're still waiting on the NASDAQ, right? We expected, after a price bringing down and hitting key targets, that we expect bounces along the way. And that's what we always expect as swing traders. It typically doesn't go just straight down and hit all 3 or 4 targets all at once. Sometimes it does, but most of the time it doesn't. Most of the time it's like it comes down, almost like if you live near the ocean, or if you've ever been in the ocean, or you even know what the ocean is, right? It goes in waves, right? So it looks kind of like waves. So it comes up, comes down, goes up, comes down, goes up, comes down, right? So it's trending downwards. It's putting in these lower highs. It's putting in these lower lows, right? And you can see it didn't put in a lower low yet here on this move down. So if it puts in another lower high, then you'd expect, price to put in another lower low, and then the probabilities will continue to stack that prices go lower and hit the next target, which is below $14,000 on the NASDAQ. So right now, we had that bullish divergence. Oh, let me put the crosshairs back on. We had that bullish divergence, right? Bullish divergence. And now, in my opinion, it's not an overall longer term trend change. It just means that there was some divergence, right? And that big move up on Friday looks like it already possibly cleared out that divergence, right? So now we're going to find out if this is going to be a lower high or not. It's too early to call it right now, in my opinion. But it's possible this was the retracement, and it's possible that the lower high is in, right? So you kind of draw it out where, kind of lines up with what I had thought originally, and just by drawing it out visually. So we'll see. We'll find out. The trending dots are still up. Currently, it's still bullish on the daily chart, and currently it's still bullish on the weekly chart. But like I said, the weekly chart is lagging, right? It lags compared to the daily chart. So it's kind of a wait and see. And we got Bitcoin down 1.5%. So Bitcoin kind of led the way originally on the drop. So is Bitcoin going to lead the way again, right? On the next possible drop? So we'll take a look at it. Let's take a quick glance at SP 500. I haven't looked at it yet today. Let's see. So that's the NASDAQ daily chart, still in this downward trend, right? You had that bearish divergence followed by downward trend. This could be a lower high. It could be running into that resistance, that downward resistance, right? So that's what we're kind of watching right now. And then let's take a quick look at the MACD. There is a bullish MACD crossover, but it's in negative territory, right? So if you've been following me for any length of time, you've known that even if there's a bullish crossover, while it's still bearish, it could just come up like this and then roll back down, right? So just because there's a bullish crossover on the MACD doesn't mean it's going to completely change the trend, right? So you kind of see it's also in a downward trend, right? And so it could come up like this, over the next few days and then start to roll back over after that. So a lot of times the MACD is a lagging indicator. My trading strategy isn't based off of that, but I do like to have it on the chart from time to time and look at it because it was one of the first indicators that I started with looking at, and I know it's like a major indicator or one of the most popular indicators for people starting out, right? So that's the daily look on the NASDAQ. Let's take a look at SP 500. Right. So this is based off of the weekly chart in the longer term, right? You had that all-time high up here at above 4,800. And then was a lower high, right? 4,600. And then another lower high, right? So it's still bearish. There is no MACD bullish crossover yet on the daily chart. Let's take a look at the weekly chart. The weekly chart already had and I didn't look on the NASDAQ. We could take a look on the weekly chart. Remember, there was a MACD bearish crossover, right? We had an RSI sell signal. The only thing we're missing on the NASDAQ is the sharpshooter candle sell signal. That's kind of the last piece to the puzzle. But we did have a bearish MACD crossover. We did have an RSI sell signal here on the weekly chart. That was following by, it followed after the bearish divergence, right? So bearish divergence, RSI sell signal, MACD bearish crossover, right? Weekly close. Let's see, zoom in here. Had the weekly close below that long upward trend line, right? Target one. It's bouncing, kind of letting the trending dots catch up, let the moving averages catch up on the weekly chart. And so if you go back over here to the S&P 500, you can kind of see the similar thing where it was breaking down. Then there was a sell signal, MACD bearish crossover, RSI sell signal, right? Lower highs getting put in, a lower low put in, right? Lower high, lower low, and then sell signal, and the trending dots continue to trend downward. So it's bearish. SP 500 is bearish on the weekly chart. Seems like the NASDAQ is lagging time-wise, right? all the similar ingredients of it being bearish, except for lagging time-wise. So again, thanks for everyone. If you're coming back, supporting the channel, if you're new to the channel, welcome. I appreciate it. And the goal is to hit 100 likes. Can we do it? Can we hit 100 likes? Smash the like button. Help out the channel. Help me. Help you. Help me. All right. So weekly chart, SP 500, bearish on the weekly chart. Daily chart is getting a bounce, right? But we're shorting the bounces, right? Or not we. I'm shorting the bounces. This is not financial advice. Always do your own research, and don't trade with money until you are ready. How do you know you're ready? You know when you know how to map out your entries, your exits, your stop losses, when you're right, when you're wrong, when to push trade, all that stuff. So we talk about that over 60 plus hours on recorded coaching. So if you need to take a deeper dive, I no longer do the live coaching sessions, but I did record all the live recording sessions, all the live sessions. I recorded them, and they're still there. So you can go take a look. It's like you're with us a year and a half ago, right? So everything is still the same. I haven't changed my strategy in a few years now. Sip of water. Let's go right back to the Dow Jones, right? Let's take a look at the weekly chart. Weekly chart looking very similar, right? Had that bearish MACD crossover, had the RSI sell signal, had the actual sell signal, right? Weekly closes below the upward trend line, right? Had had the reversal candle, right? So reversal candle was one of the first signals, and then we had RSI sell signal, we had the regular sell signal, and the bearish MACD crossover. So is the Dow Jones leading the way? Is the Russell 2000 leading the way, right? Reversal candle, RSI sell signal, bearish MACD crossover. Then price started to close back below the 200-week moving average on the Russell 2000. So a lot of times I'll ask the question, is an asset more bullish or is it lagging time-wise? Well, it could be both, but in my opinion, the NASDAQ is just lagging time-wise. So currently it's still bullish, but it's bullish until it's not. And if the Russell 2000 had a weekly sell signal, then the Dow Jones, then SP 500, it seems like the probabilities continue to stack that the NASDAQ will be next, right? Also, we had a weekly sell signal on gold, right? And it seemed like silver was kind of leading the way. So we also had sell signal, and then a weekly close below the 200-week moving average, very similar to the Russell 2000, whereas gold has not come back down to the 200-week moving average yet, has not hit target 3 yet, right? So let me kind of clean this up here. But you can see where the MACD had a bearish crossover way back in May, right? And so it took time to play out. It takes time on the weekly chart to play out and become bearish, right? So patience is needed, right? So every single bounce, every single dip is getting bought up by the perma bulls, and they don't see any potential correction or downside. And the perma bears, they miss these massive rallies, right? So it pays to be a swing trader. It can pay to be a swing trader. Doesn't mean it always will be. Always will. There's a lot involved to be able to make money on swing trading. You have to have a strategy with an edge. You have to have patience. You have to know. You have to have risk management. You have to have all that. All of that is involved. But not to get too sidetracked, we do have, it is bearish on gold. And it's been, MACD bearish crossover since May. Like I said, RSI sell signal back in June. And it's just continuing to trend downwards. And it seems like eventually it will hit the 200-week moving average, very similar to silver, right? And then will it go below the 200-week moving average? That's what we'll find out. So that's what we're kind of watching in all of it. The DXY, we have the MACD bullish crossover, everything is kind of reversed, right? So doesn't mean that there's not going to be pullbacks along the way. We had, but starting off, kind of the opposite of, the Russell 2000, gold, silver, all that stuff, right? We had the reversal candle at the bottom. Then we had bullish divergence. So instead of the bearish divergence, we had bullish divergence, followed by a reversal candle, finding support at the 200-week moving average, right? And then there was 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 weeks in a row to hit 3 targets to the upside. And then we were talking about this on previous live streams that, it looks like there's a pullback coming. And so I drew out these targets to the downside. While the weekly is still bullish, on the lower time frames like the daily chart, 8-hour chart, 12-hour chart, we could see a pullback, maybe hit 1 target, 2 target, 3 targets more, and then bounce, find support. Maybe it comes back up, hits that target, and then we'll find out from there if that was it. So it's still bullish on the weekly chart until it's not. And let's take a look at the daily chart. Let's drop down. So this is what we were talking about on the daily chart. Let's get back off of here. We've got bearish divergence on the daily chart, followed by R-size sell signal. We have a MACD bearish crossover, but we're still in bullish territory, right? So everything is still bullish. So this is at the moment when the weekly chart is bullish, when the daily chart is bullish, any type of pullback, I'm expecting to hit lower targets, like shorter term lower targets, find support, and then bounce up. So when that changes is when it starts getting bearish on the daily chart. And then we'll start looking at the weekly chart. Hey, are there signs on the weekly chart that it could be rolling over as well? Until that happens, I'm expecting pullbacks, finding support, and then bouncing up, right? So that's what we're kind of watching. And then it's the opposite on the NASDAQ and stocks and stuff like that, right? Where any of the bounces are expecting it to get sold off while the weekly charts are still bearish. So that's what we're watching right now in the dollar, 10-year yield. We talked about this as well. There's bearish divergence, right? So bearish divergence on Friday, and we talked about that. So we could see temporary relief on the 10-year yields. So maybe that will help out with 30-year mortgage rates, right? Maybe it's getting some better pricing today on the mortgage rates. Let's look at the weekly chart. The weekly chart is still currently ultra bullish, right? So it's possible that just letting the trending dots catch up on the weekly chart, it's possible just kind of letting the MACD catch up. It's possible that the moving average is just letting them get caught up. But one thing to point out, if the week closes like this or closes back below here on the weekly chart, it's putting in additional long-term bearish divergence, right? So, and it could have future bearish divergence for much longer than what most would expect. And so it's possible, and as of right now, with the monthly chart also being bullish, it's possible it comes back down like this. And I think we even drew this out on Friday or Thursday. Could come back down like this, retrace on the shorter time frame, right? Come back up, hit this target, and then maybe at that point, the longer term bearish divergence will put in a lower high at some point, and then maybe get some relief like that. This is a weekly chart. That could take a long time to play out. That could take weeks, if not months, to play out. And maybe it could remain with bearish divergence all the way until like this, all the way until it comes up and hits these targets, right? And then puts in a lower high. And it could be even longer, right? So that would be guessing, but it's just something that's unfolding over long term, that we do have bearish divergence going back to 2022, almost a year now, more than a year now, right? Potentially additional bearish divergence, and it could be future bearish divergence. So when you're looking at it from a long-term standpoint, it's still ultra bullish on the monthly chart. So we don't want to guess that the top is in back here. We don't want to guess that the top is back in here. We definitely don't want to guess the top is in here, but we're keeping an eye on the weekly chart, and there is bearish divergence on the weekly chart, daily chart, etc. So we're going to keep rocking and rolling because, like I said, we got to keep the first half of the stream 15, 30 minutes. And then the second half stream, we're going to go through comments. We're going to go through chart requests, all that stuff. And I have to keep today to an hour. So we're going to rock and roll, try to go fast, and keep this going. So that's a 10-year yield, still ultra bearish on the monthly chart, weekly chart, but maybe some short-term relief on the daily chart. So let's take a look at the VIX monthly. Not much to show there. The weekly chart on the VIX is still bullish, right? Now, it did get rejected off of the 200-week moving average. And what we did draw out a long time ago, or it seems like a long time ago, is that, what we talked about is when it breaks out, it could be this wild, crazy animal, right? And that's what we're seeing actually play out. I mean, maybe not this dramatic or as dramatic as what I pointed out, but we're definitely seeing that type of movement. But if you zoom out on the weekly chart, it's still bullish, right? So this is what you want to pay attention to, is that the RSI is continuing to gain strength. RSI is at 55, right? You've got the MACD that had the bullish crossover as well back here in July. But what I've talked about in the past is that if the MACD gets above the zero line, then it's also going to become, it's like another milestone, right? So it could get this retracement back, kind of let the trending dots catch up and the moving averages catch up. And then you're seeing like over the next couple of weeks, the volatility will get closer and closer to that MACD zero line, right? And you can see back here in November 2021, he had some spikes up that went quite a bit higher on the VIX. You're seeing the MACD become more and more bullish above the zero line, right? So you're seeing it more bullish. And so you start to see like bigger spikes up. Back here, February 2020, you can see the MACD go above the zero line, right? And then you see a massive pump up, right? So that's what we're talking about is like, yeah, you could have a MACD bullish crossover, but once you start getting above the zero line, you can start to see some major spikes up, and then you're going to see some major corrections in the overall stock market, crypto, Bitcoin. Back here in March 2020 had a 65% drop, right? So that's what you're watching. That's what you're paying attention to. You've got RSI's gaining relative strength on the weekly chart, 55. You got the MACD coming up. It could start to flip bullish on and get above that zero. It's at currently negative 0.28 on the reading for the MACD. And you start to see it getting to bullish territory, possibly, right? So that's what we're going to be watching this week, next week, future weeks. We'll watch it together. Natural gas, right? I put out this, here we are where you got the MACD currently at 0.007 negative. So it's also getting close to that bullish territory on the MACD. RSI has already been bullish, right? So like I said, the MACD is a lagging indicator. So you've got relative strength gaining here back here in September. And now it's up at 60 on natural gas weekly chart. It was bullish. We were talking about bullish divergence way back here in early 2023. And now it seems like the probabilities continue to stack. Whether it happens today, next week, the week after, but that we're going to come up and hit target 1 and the 200-week moving average, similar to the way Bitcoin did as well. So that's what we're talking about. Let's take a look at U.S. oil. Reversal candle on the weekly chart. Had a weekly close back below this trend line and right on the trending dots. It has bounced and it's hit 3 targets to the downside. So after hitting targets to the upside, right? We get rid of all that. It hit 3 targets to the downside. And then we're going to find out if it's going to hit even more targets after that. So what it could do is, it came down, bounces, puts in a lower high, might take some time to play out. It's the weekly chart, and then come back down and possibly hit that lower target here, which is also near the 200-week moving average. So that's what we're kind of watching. There's no bearish crossover on the weekly chart yet, but you have RSI kind of breaking down. Still currently bullish, but early signs, we had a weekly reversal there. Let's look at the daily chart. Broke down, had that bearish divergence on the daily chart, followed by a breakdown. Now it's bouncing. You'd be looking for that lower high to be put in for that higher probability short position. It bounces back up. Very similar to like the NASDAQ or NVIDIA and stuff in Apple, where it came down, bounced back up above the trend line, and then rolled back over. That's US oil. Let's keep going. Now let's jump into Bitcoin. Let's take a look at it. Down 1.5% today. This is the daily chart. We had a reversal candle that we talked about. And I even did this video talking about it in more detail. So take a look at it. Labeled Bitcoin. Will we see Bitcoin hit 38,000 or 24,000? Go take a look at that. Spend 21 minutes on it on Friday. And let me know your thoughts on that. And also, I covered Bitcoin miners. It's kind of like part 2. I covered that again. So go take a look at that. I'm going to do a video most likely this evening. I thought about doing it last night, but I got wrapped up in football. So apologize. I didn't get this video out. But I'm most likely going to cover this. I put out this post on the X app 2 days ago. And I'm going to most likely cover this. It lines up very similar to building out this lower high. And so I'll cover this on a video I'll try to spend about 10 minutes on it tonight covering that. So watch out for that as well. So we had that reversal candle and even talked about like the last 3 reversal candles nailed the bottoms and top of Bitcoin. But I also pointed out a time where it didn't nail the top or the bottom. So it's not confirmed yet. But the title of this is there's a pending sell signal on the 8-hour chart. So we're going to drop down to that lower time frame. Let's take a quick look at the weekly chart and just kind of set the stage, right? So we had even the MACD had bearish divergence. RSI we were watching had bearish divergence. We had RSI sell signal way back here in May, bearish divergence, sell signal, right? Now we're watching this whole entire time. Will price break down? We talked about this for months now. Will it come down, find support, put in a lower high, build out like a right shoulder, and then come back down to this target? There's 2 targets in here, but I got a little bit lazy and I just combined it into one target and kind of lines back up with, here I just put one target box because and I'll explain more in this video tonight why I kind of just put one target box. There's a reason for it. A, I got lazy, but B, there's 2 times that it's occurred in the past, and it's not, one time it hit the 3rd target and one time it hit the 4th target. So I just combined the 3rd and 4th target together because at the end of the day, we're just looking for price to come back to an area of confluence, find support, and then nail that next entry back out to the upside, right? So that's the weekly chart. Now, let's drop down the 8-hour chart. Well, what we're all here for, the pending sell signal. We smashing likes. Shooter, by the way. Ooh, Emmanuel, DGR78. I know these people. Longtime snipers. Ryan, good morning. Hernan, good morning. G-Rod, good morning. Vince, Ryoki, did I say that correctly? Let me know. Sorry if I got it wrong. You're too good for crypto Twitter. They just want bullish. Oh, man. Arnold, Oswaldo, Arnold. All right. We're going to cover everyone. We're going to keep going, though. Here's what we're here for. The 8-hour. Oh, wow. Didn't even realize that. So we went live and the pending sell signal became the sell signal. It seems like the lower high is getting built. Too early to call it on the daily chart, but we're breaking down on the 8-hour chart. We had that reversal candle on the daily chart. We have a pending sell signal that turned into a sell signal on the 8-hour chart. It seems like we're starting to roll back over. Higher probabilities are, getting back below, this trend line. Getting back below this trend line here. This is like a more aggressive approach, right? It's a lower time frame. Doesn't mean it can't, find support, pump back up one more time, and then come back down, right? Of course, we got a bearish MACD crossover. We've got sell signal. We had the RSI sell signal back here on October 2nd, so a week ago, after hitting the third target, the key third target area, and we were watching this, waiting for it. On the 8-hour chart, it looks like it put in a lower high. Seems like too early to call it, but it's not too early to call it. We're always a little bit early, right? It's okay to be a little early. We're ahead of the pack. We're not the hindsight crew. We're the what do I always say? Foresight is greater than hindsight, right? We're the foresight crew. We're not the hindsight crew. So let's take a quick look at Bitcoin dominance, right? So I'm not a huge Bitcoin dominance person. I just kind of like to look at it as like, hey, if Bitcoin's going through correction, most likely the altcoins are going through a bigger correction, right? Or if Bitcoin is breaking out to the upside and Bitcoin dominance is strong, then Bitcoin's going to have a bigger move than altcoins. And so really, I just kind of keep it simple. Way back here, we're talking about at 42% strength. We're talking about Bitcoin coming up, hitting target 1, possibly target 2, retesting the 200-week moving average. It did. It got rejected. Now it's regaining the 200-week moving average. Doesn't mean that Bitcoin is going to be bullish. Just means that it's possible that Bitcoin is more dominant than the altcoins, right? So altcoins, I don't know. Watch it. And I put out a post, a while back, and several chimed in and said, "There's, way back here at this target, probably won't see target 2, definitely won't see target 3." Well, if we get a weekly close back above the 200-week moving average, the probabilities are going to continue to increase that we do hit target 3, possibly target 4 after that. So that's Bitcoin dominance. What else? All right, I think that's. Let's see. Let's take a quick look at a quick glance at the Magnificent Seven. We've got NVIDIA still trending down on the weekly chart, MACD trending down. We're going to go through this kind of quickly just on the weekly chart. Remember, still a massive 20% gap on the weekly chart. NVIDIA, we're going to talk very fast. You don't even need to speed up the YouTube, setting from normal to 1.25 or 1.75. Just going to go a lot faster. So Amazon still trending down. RSI sell signal, MACD bearish crossover. No sell signal on the sharpshooter candles. It's a weekly chart. Takes time to play out. But if we kind of zoom in here, right? Take that off, right? It's just, you can see the trending dots are starting to move back down. Microsoft, same thing, lower high, lower low. Will this be a lower high? Still, everything's trending downwards. There's no reversals right now. They're just bounces as of right now. Tesla down 2%. MACD never crossed over bullish on the weekly chart. Still had that bearish crossover. Still had the RSI sell signal. Put in a lower high. Will this be another lower high on the weekly chart? Clean this up. This is probably on the daily chart, right? Went through this consolidation period, very similar to silver. We talked about that. The difference is after it consolidated, it broke down and silver came crashing down all the way down below the 200-week moving average. So will Tesla pattern look similar to silver, break down from this trend line, come all the way back down, hit this next target and the 200-week moving average? We have an older gap down here at 147, and then we'll see from there. But as of right now, it's still holding on for dear life on the weekly chart. The daily chart is looking like this was the reversal candle. You got the lower high up here as well, followed by a sell signal, came down, bounced off the trend line. This is starting, it's too early because the MACD, everything hasn't started rolling over yet, but this could be that lower high, right? Breaking back down from this shorter term trend line, then maybe comes back down. And then all of a sudden, then you see that bigger move down from the downside. So that's Tesla. Apple still, after putting in a lower low, it's going to find, maybe it comes back up here, fills this gap here, right? At about 181. It's a smaller gap on Apple, but this is what we've been expecting, break down, put in that lower high, right? Come back up, put in another lower high, and then fall to the downside, right? Why? Because the weekly chart is still trending downward. After a sell signal, it bounced, ripped back up. But if we look at this, right, when we look at this closer, it did that already before. Sell signal, bounce back up, put in a lower high. Sell signal, hit target 2, bounce back up. But underneath the red trending dots, right? So underneath the red trending dots, puts in another lower high, and then rolls over after that and becomes more bearish. So the bounces become less, and then the moves to the downside become bigger typically, right? And then you see like the lower targets get hit. Apple is one of the assets that never came back down and hit the 200-week moving average, but we're going to keep going. Google, last one for the Magnificent Seven, still holding on. Seems like, that longer term bearish divergence could be putting in additional bearish divergence, right? Had that MACD bearish crossover, followed by a MACD bullish crossover, followed by possibly another MACD bearish crossover in the future. And then there's no sell signal on RSI yet, right? So no RSI sell signal. So Google on the daily chart looks a little bit different. Had that bearish divergence long term, breakdown, reversal, looking that it could put in a double top and or slightly, very, very subtle, slightly lower high in the daily chart. Then we'll find out if it kind of rolls over after that. Whew, that's a lot. All right, we're going to roll through the comments, try to keep this, we only got about 23 minutes, so we're going to go a little bit faster. Wes Diddy, my man. Caesar, good afternoon from Sterling. Welcome back. Doc, good evening from Germany. What's up, Doc? How many likes do we have? Let me know how many likes we have. The goal, remember, 100 plus likes. Come on, help me out. Help me. Arnold, good morning. Longtime sniper. Ryoki, liked Boss Man. Awesome. Thank you for liking it. Appreciate it. Been following you for a couple of years. Oh, awesome. Maybe I recognize you on the X app, but I can't remember. Like if longtime follower, it's probably likely, but everyone's got a different name, whether it's the X app, email, Discord, billing, whatever it is. Everyone's got a different name for different platforms. So I can't remember everybody, but thank you for being a longtime supporter. I appreciate it. One of the very few worth learning from. Appreciate that. Very nice of you to say that. Arnold, Tesla lower high already in place. It seems like it, right? It's too early to call it, but we're always early. Here's the 8-hour chart. Let's look at the 4-hour chart. It's starting to look like it more and more. It's really early still. 2-hour had a sell signal back below this trend line here. If you kind of zoom in here, it's kind of, reversal candle starting to roll over, boom. Sell signal on the 2-hour chart comes back up, retests, and then maybe hits it after that, right? So MACD bearish crossover on the 2-hour chart. These are really lower time frames, and so it's too early to call it, but it seems like that. Arnold, Oswaldo, welcome back, my man. You're too good for crypto Twitter. Nah, we do the best we can over and over again. Try to get that consistency and sniper these markets together over and over again. They just want bullish. Yeah, I know. I mean, naturally, people just want bullish, right? Because naturally, they just want to win and make money and stuff. But while we're waiting for, the bullishness or the next potential bull run or whatever, I don't want to wait a couple of years. I want to swing trade it to the upside and the downside. So that's all it is. Vince, Palladium chart, weekly. Okay. What ticker symbol? There's several of them out there. Or I think I've charted uranium, not palladium. So let me know, Vince, what symbol you're looking at. So for search purposes, and I'll come back and you're the first one. So we'll take a look at it. G-Rod, good morning. Can we check Disney and AMD? Okay, we'll check Disney again. We'll do that. Let's get back to the Sniper top 40. We'll do Palladium. All right, let's do Palladium real quick. Let's go through all the comments real quick. Good morning, everybody. Renan, welcome back. Gap of the day is filling on the S&P 500. Could get interesting after lunch. Yep. Ooh, speaking of breakfast and lunch over here, it's going to make me hungry. Ryan will check it out. Welcome back. Good morning, fam. Good morning, Emmanuel. Welcome back. DJR78, good morning. Longtime sniper in the Discord. Shooter, by the way. Longtime sniper. Yep, welcome. Lucas Land. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. I said it both ways. Evening all. Welcome back. That's why I like Twitter videos. You can go up 3x speed, but usually 2.25 is the fastest I can't even go that fast, Ryan. I only can do 1.25. Really, the fastest for me is 1.25. I know there's people out there doing 1.75. 2.25 that's crazy fast. 4K mods like me. All right. Welcome back, 4K mods. Hello, I think you have skipped Meta. Did I skip Meta? I think I covered it just super quick per 06. Welcome back. Did I skip it? All right, let me take a look. Meta. Yeah, Meta broke out to the upside, right? Doesn't mean it can't put in a double top or a lower high, but it is bullish on, maybe I did skip it. It did break out here, right? So you had the buy signal and it broke out to the upside. It could put in that lower high. So any close back below 325 would put in a lower high, right? Weekly chart, right? So weekly chart, MACD had that bearish crossover, had the RSI sell signal, still waiting for that lower high to be in on the weekly chart, and it could still put in a lower high. If we take here, we can see it better here. Any weekly close below 325 would still put in that lower high. That's still my main thought. It did have a huge, nice bounce, and the bounces will be pretty big while the weekly chart is still bullish, while the daily chart is still bullish. It will have those larger bounces, but I'm still expecting a lower high to get put in at some point. And then there's a massive 20% gap down below. So we'll find out or not there. Let's jump back to, it took me years to get used to over 2x speed. College lectures helped. Oh, wow. Yeah, for me, it's like I do really well just like, retaining stuff if I just go all in like on normal speed and just like really try to absorb it. So I have to go to slower speed, but like I feel like I'm pretty good at retaining it, one time. So but only a lower. Ooh, Bitcoin's breaking down 2%. Is it leading the way again? All right, let's look at Palladium. We'll come back to Bitcoin again. Let's take a look at it, but let's cover some of these comments. We only have 17 minutes. I would spend an hour and a half with you guys today while Bitcoin is breaking down, potentially other ones. But like I said, I got other things I gotta knock out today, so I can't be on here for an hour and a half. All right, let's look at Palladium. Let's cover it. Palladium. So TVC. Let's just take a look at that. CFDs on Palladium. So this is a weekly chart. And then what about Palladium, right? Are you looking for a buy the dip opportunity? Just kind of gives us a little bit of context and what you're looking for. As of right now, Palladium on the weekly chart is, and I'm sure even if there's like something else that you're looking at for Palladium, this is probably going to be very similar anyways, but weekly chart is still bearish. And so, as of right now, it's a wait and see. The 200-week moving average is also moving down. It's been below the 200-week moving average since November 2022. So it's going through this bottoming phase. There is bullish divergence, but the RSI is already back below. So it's just bearish right now. BTC dropping live. Yep, dropping live. Ooh, 8-hour chart had a pending sell signal. Then it had a sell signal when we went live. We're watching it live here together. But let's cover palladium. The monthly chart. Oh, just bearish. You can see MACD had that bearish crossover August 2021, right? Put in a lower high here on the monthly chart, February 2022. The last sell signal was, well, there was a sell signal here, May 2022, and then another sell signal here, October 2022. And it's just dropping out, right? So you've got palladium, January 2016 down here, right? You've got 841 here. You've got weekly close, monthly close here at 1,065. You know, that it's just bearish, right? So we're gonna just keep going. Weekly chart is bearish, monthly chart is bearish, right? And it's continuing to trend downward. It has not found bottom. Been expected to go through some sort of a bottoming phase. It's going to take months, weeks, months, or longer for it to go through a bottoming phase. Right now, it's just bearish, right? So let's take a look at the daily chart. Daily chart is going down as well. So daily, weekly, monthly, all bearish on palladium. All right, what else we got? Who is next? Who is next? Who is next? Who is next? So we had palladium, right? Got that one. Palladium chart weekly. Yep. Bearish. Monthly chart is bearish. SP 500. Yep. Disney. I believe Disney was next. So let's just take a look at Disney. It's trying to go fast so we can keep an eye on Bitcoin as well. Okay, let's see. Disney. Disney is bullish on the daily chart, right? Had that MACD crossover, had the bullish divergence that we were calling out on previous live stream, right? So we were calling this out that, you know, a couple of scenarios, it could just kind of break back up. And a couple of things to watch was it could come back down and put in a lower high at some point, right? So you have bullish divergence all back here, and then a breakout, broke this trend line, and then this is just kind of like a phantom trend line, but it did break out at some point. You know, it could continue to hit some more targets like that to the upside, right? Hit some more targets, but at some point it's going to put in a lower high, right? So you got this breakout, could come up like this and then come back down, put in a lower, not a lower high, could break out, come back up, and then put in a higher low, right? At some point it's going to put in a higher low, but as of right now, it broke out. We were talking about this bullish divergence on the live streams. We covered it. Let's take a look at the weekly chart, kind of zoom out here. It's still currently bearish on the weekly chart, but it does have this long-term bullish divergence from May 2022. So Disney's been going through a bottoming phase for a long time, right? You can go back to like November 2021. It's been going through this crazy bottoming phase, crazy bullish divergence. So at some point, there's going to be a move on Disney. It may have started on Disney for the daily chart, but at some point, there's still going to be a higher low that gets put in. And on the longer term weekly chart, it's still, well, from here, it did break out, right? And it came back and it had actually a reversal candle on the weekly chart, right? So you got long-term bullish divergence followed by a potential, no, not potential, a reversal candle from last week. So on Friday, it put in a reversal candle there. So This could be signaling the longer term trend change. It hasn't tested the 200-week moving average in a long time. The 200-week moving average is about 117 right now. We got 11 more minutes, so we're going to spend a little bit more time on Bitcoin. We're going to get back to it. Sir, repeat BTC for, however, XRP for the moment and comment quick. Okay, we'll take a look at it. But here we are on Disney looking at long-term bullish divergence, bottoming phase for a couple of years. We're weekly chart is starting to find relative strength. There's some could be some light at the end of the tunnel. May still take a couple of weeks to like have a larger bounce. We do have a gap here at $100 as well. So there are some signs of strength. Bullish divergence followed by reversal candle. You know I like that. So, you know, if you get a weekly close back above the trending dots and maybe a higher low gets put in on the daily chart, that's when it's going to be that higher probability of a bigger bounce coming on Disney. Let's take a quick glance back at Bitcoin, down 2%, 27,360. Seems like it kind of led the way to the downside for the market, for stock markets. Now it looks like it could be possibly leading the way again. We'll take a look at it. But let's look at XRP real fast. XRP, where do I have you? I have you on the watch list. Let's take a look. XRP. Weekly chart is bearish. What were you looking for, Shooter, by the way? Hey, Jesse, can you take a look at XRP for the moment and comment? Are you looking for a long? Are you looking for a short? What are you doing? The weekly chart had a sell signal last week. Looks like it's trending down. It's below the trending dots. Hit those two targets. Have this little bounce up to the target one, and that was it, right? So it had a bounce here, hit two targets to the upside there. Consolidated, similar to Bitcoin, just above the 200-week moving average. But difference is it didn't hit three targets like Bitcoin. It only hit target one, then had a weekly sell signal, and it's trending down. If you look at the daily chart, got also a pending sell signal. So not sure what you're looking for, but there was a bullish divergence followed by hitting target one, right? And it looks like it's it. It could be leading the way on even Bitcoin. There's no sell signal on Bitcoin yet. Looks like it's rolling over on the daily chart. Target, the next target, we've been watching this all since 29,200. It's playing out in real time. It's been playing out in real time on these live streams, all my videos. Go back to the videos. Bitcoin crashing 5 days ago. Market crashed 2 weeks ago. Even the short-term bounces, we covered it. The video from 2 days ago, definitely go take a look at that one. We're watching it. We're waiting. We're going to put out another video covering this tonight because I think it's important. 8 minutes ago, we're trying to pick up the speed here. We've seen this pattern before. So we're going to do a video, and I'm going to spend about 10 minutes on that one, or however long it takes, but I'm going to try to spend about 10 minutes on that one. So this is what we're watching. What else do we got? Lucas, okay, I'm going to work on it. Teach me how to pronounce it, and I'll do my best. In the meantime, keep misspelling my name. That way I feel better about if I do mispronunciations, then I feel better about myself. Asif Khan, did I say that correctly? Like I said, I'm not good at pronunciations. I apologize. Asif Khan, sir, repeat BTC4. Okay, 4 hour. You got it. Let's take a look at the 4 hour chart. Sell signal back here on 1 a.m. Right? So 1 a.m. my time. So looking at 2 candle closes back then. Palladium is commodity. Don't have a ticker. I just typed that in. Sorry, no problem. No problem. So we covered it anyways. So weekly chart is bearish, monthly chart is bearish. So you got Bitcoin 4 hour sell signal. We had an 8 hour sell signal. We were watching this. This looks like the lower high on the 8 hour. This overall move looks like the lower high on the daily, possibly the weekly chart. It's all trending downward right now. Even on the 4 hour chart, you had the sell signal. Price came back tested it, almost back tested again, and it's breaking down to the downside, trending dots. Bitcoin breaking down in real time. RICS, money, Maker Helton. I believe, Rick, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you just subscribed to the Discord. You've been following me for a long time. Welcome aboard. I think it was you, Rick, right? I think I saw that. Was it a day or two ago? Um, Welcome. Shooter, by the way, you got it. You got it. You got it. You got it. Let me know, Shooter, by the way, were you looking for a potential buy or a sell or what? But yes, that is me. I sure did. Jesse, glad to be with you. Awesome. Rick's Money Makers Helton. Join the Discord. Hopefully the community will be of value to you. There's a ton of tools in there. Look for the indicators and tools channel. There's a lot. There's a lot of video updates going back more than a year and a half, all still relevant today. There's videos upon videos upon videos. Almost 7,000 posts in the Discord from me. You can go to the search section, search Jesse Olson. You can get all of that. Take a look at it. Bitcoin down. So that's a 4-hour chart. Let's look at the 8-hour chart. Yep, sell signal, right? This would be the follow through. Breakdown from here, and we're going to get more and more confident that the lower high is put in. We've been talking about this for 2 months. Possible breakdown from 29,200, possibly hit targets. It did. Possibly find support at the targets in the 200-week moving average. It did. Possible retracement, hit targets to the upside, whether it's target 1, 2, 3, or 4. It did. It hit target 3. Possible put in a lower high, build out a right shoulder. It's possibly it did. You know, we're doing this live together. We're sniping the markets together. We're blocking out the noise. We don't care about what the quote unquote experts say. We don't quote unquote care about what the quote unquote gurus say. We don't care about the 500,000 followers accounts say. You know, we're just chugging along, sniping markets together, celebrating the wins, you know, taking the small losses if we can, and pushing the winners as long as we can. We appreciate it. Got to go. Enjoy all. Same here. I'm only a Discord member, and I find out I'm not only a Discord. Or will be upgrading when I. Oh, gotcha. That's okay. That's okay. If you're just Discord member, there's a lot of tools and just we have 2 options for a reason. The recorded coaching is to take a deeper dive, get the second indicator, get the Sniper Top 40 crypto and stock screener automatic alerts. And then there's a special discussion group there. So it's if you want to go deeper down the rabbit hole, you got to have more time invested, stuff like that. That's what that's for. But if you just want to be in the sniper community, get the sharpshooter candles, and then really like it's a lot already, right? So no worries. One day maybe you upgrade, but it's okay. There's plenty in the Discord, right? So awesome. Well, we're gonna try to keep it to that 1 hour. Thanks everyone. Hit the goal, smash the 100 likes would be awesome. I appreciate all of your support. I appreciate all you subscribing. Let's go. Let's get this. Hope you have a good day, and we'll see you on the next live stream. Thank you.